Hola, buenos dias, ¿cómo está? Kaipacho with Astrology for the Soul, looking at the planetary patterns for the week of July 5 to 12. What is going on? We have a waning moon, okay, went into Aquarius yesterday, and is going to be heading into Pisces by Thursday, which is tomorrow. Moving through Pisces will conjunct with our good friend Neptune before going into Aries on Saturday. Yeah? Trining Mercury, conjuncting Neptune, really going on. We'll have a third quarter square moon to the sun, okay, happening on Sunday. And I can talk a little bit about that and the degree, maybe the Sabian symbol. It'll conjunct Chiron there in Aries before it goes into Taurus on Monday. Lots of changes there. On Monday, Mars goes into Virgo. Mercury opposes Pluto and then goes into Leo. The moon changes into Taurus, hits the north node of the moon, which is about to change signs. Okay, from Taurus into Aries. I'm going to talk about that on today's report. Other aspects is that, yeah, this Mercury squares Chiron today, sextiles Uranus tomorrow, trines Neptune on Sunday, squares the moon's nodes on Tuesday. I mean, we have a very active Mercury. Even in last week's report, I talked a little bit about, the conversation, having the conversations and asking the questions. So that is still kind of going on here, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. In the meantime, let's look at Mars. Before Mars goes into Virgo, okay, he is going to come into an inconjunct with Neptune on tomorrow, and in conjunct Pluto on Sunday, which is basically a yod. Yeah, 150 degrees to, from late Leo up to late Capricorn, up to late Pisces, and then Pluto and Neptune in a sextile is the fickle finger of fate, the yod. I might get to talking about that, but there's just so much to talk about. We'll just have to see what spirit moves. All right, everybody, I better get going before it starts raining. So much to talk about today because I would actually like to go through each one of the planets to just really get a bigger overall picture. I like to talk about, the Sabian symbols and all the, the moon cycle and, all the different aspects that are going on right now. But I'd also like to bring a bigger context. I'm thinking of doing a special on just this whole movement of what is going on and what it looks like ahead. With the United States elections, Bobby Kennedy, with everything that's going on with AI and technology and everything else, and probably try to do that online. I'm also doing some live workshops on this. I'm going to be doing finding peace, harmony, and love in an increasingly hostile world. Centering ourselves, coming home to Mother Nature, swimming with the dolphins, the astrology of water. I'll be posting about Pluto, Scorpio, and the 8th house. I'll be doing in Florida next October, and more to come. So do please check the links below in the notes on YouTube. You can find all the links. I know some of you had a hard time finding the link for the Mandala book by Dane Rudyard. All I can say is go to YouTube, hit see more, and in the notes I have links to everything, including my playlist oh my goodness, the Spotify playlist for the Pele Report, a new song every week. That playlist is getting very, very, very long. So let's just kind of look at these things. I am doing a whole workshop on Pluto and the moon's nodes. That's coming up in November. And let's start with Pluto, work our way in a little bit, or see how Spirit guides us. But really, we have this overarching, shift of Pluto going back and forth between Capricorn and Aquarius until November of 2024. It's finishing up its Capricorn business of restructuring, the whole means of global governance. If you haven't noticed, we are moving towards a global governance. And of course, this includes BRICS. I think there are now almost 40 countries wanting to abandon the US dollar as the world currency. This would make a huge shift and change in the United States. And of course, there are many more implications in terms of technology, science, advances in artificial intelligence, and everything else. So we have this backdrop of Pluto, the force of evolution, really, like I say, in transition. It's been in Capricorn since 2008. It's going to spend 20 years in Aquarius. So if you think, technology is moving, changing rapidly now, it's amazing. On the plane down here, I watched Forging a New Future, and they're genetically engineering cows to not have horns. And if you know anthroposophy and Rudolf Steiner, the cow's horns are its connection to the cosmic energies. And I mean, it's just like there's a lot of science going on now with a lack of awareness of the subtle spiritual realms. But I'm going to get to that in a separate report. But I want to move on to really my main thing here is Mercury squaring the moon's nodes. We know that in evolutionary astrology, Jeffrey Green has talked about that being called a skipped step. In that it is necessary for us to do Mercury at 0 degrees of Leo in order to make that shift from the south node in Scorpio to the north node in Taurus. And I'm not going to read you the entire Sabian symbols for this, but I will give you a little bit of information on that. And the main thing that we want to talk about and understand is that for Scorpio, the south node is the path of least resistance. And it's been there since January of 2022. And it's going to be there until July 17th. The nodes are going to change signs and come into an exact square with Pluto. Right on my birthday. July 22nd, 23rd. So, So this Mercury opposite Pluto, right, is moving also then into, Leo, and squaring the nodes in their final degree. They're at the final degree. Since they go retrograde, their final degree is from 0 degrees to 1 degree. And that's from July 7 to the 18th. We've got 10 or 11 days here, where this, these Sabian symbols are going to be active. It's for the entire week. And it's very powerful because, let me just, basically, I want to share with you the north node of the moon. This Sabian symbol is active now and for the next 10 days. And it has to do with a clear mountain stream. The pure, uncontaminated, and spontaneous manifestation of one's own nature. This is the North Node in Scorpio. This is the North Node in Taurus. This is moving out of Scorpio into Taurus. Simple. This is what the mantra is about this week. Okay, this is very simple, very direct, very clear, very self-sustaining, very self-oriented. I take care of myself. I have, gold in me, capacities, talents, value. And this coincides so beautifully with Jupiter in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus. I mean, this is a very powerful time of coming into Simple Simon Says and coming out of Scorpio. Complex, intense, intermingling, okay? Codependency. Here's the South Node of Taurus, the path of devolution. Yeah, I mean, ouch. It is a crowded sightseeing bus on a city street. The fundamental human eagerness to expand one's social horizon and to experience the results of collective achievements and new ways of life. You get this? Coming out of a crowded city bus to a clear mountain stream. This is the path of evolution, of development, of growth for all of us during this. It's our last final hurrah with this kind of energy. And what happens? Mercury comes in to square it and says, before you can get out of that city bus and get to that clear mountain stream, you've got to what? You've got to, it is blood rushes to a man's head as his vital energies are mobilized under the spur of ambition. An eruption of biopsychic energies into the ego-controlled field of consciousness. What is the ego-controlled field of consciousness? Mercury. Vital forces, chi energy, kundalini energy, rising from the root chakra, emotions, passions, desires, wants, flooding our Mercury ego-controlled consciousness. Boom! That's why this mantra today has to do with being overwhelmed. And we're just coming out of this full moon in Capricorn. Okay? And, for me, it was very overwhelming. This Cancer-Capricorn axis. We've got this sun down there in Cancer raising up the intuitive, emotional fears, needs, inner child longings. Triggered by the full moon in Capricorn. The past. Ghosts from the past. Guilt, shame, doubt, reflection. So we can all be experiencing at this time period, very much getting kind of like overwhelmed, like if this river just came over and flooded me, our emotional body, our kundalini energy coming up, rushing into our heads. And, it is vitally necessary for us now And this is what that whole Mercury at 0 degrees of Aries says to me, is we need to communicate. We need to talk. We need to write. We need to speak. We need to sing. We need to go into our core true self, like the clear mountain stream, and we have to express it. We have to use this vital energy, not to be overwhelmed, but to create something and to exteriorize. That's the word. We need to externalize, exteriorize. We need to take, instead of letting the volcano just build up and overwhelm us, we need to blow. I know that the volcano Kilauea there in the Big Island was, expanding an acre of land every year. The island is growing. The volcano's creating more tropical paradise, So it's like as we, let it out, rather than try to control it, try to hold it in. This is so healing. This brings me to Chiron in Aries. And many of you were probably born with Chiron in Aries. If you are anywhere from age 47 to 54 or 55, you were born with Chiron in Aries. And you're either coming up to your Chiron return or you've had your Chiron return. But right now as I speak, Mercury is square Chiron. It's going so fast, it's moving 2 degrees a day. I mean, Mercury is like, the messenger has a message. And that message is to heal our wounds. The wounded masculine, the wounded warrior, the sense that, we're not enough or we're undeserving. We don't deserve, to really succeed, win, get our desires met. But here's what the mantra has to do with today. Simplify. The other aspect of Taurus is earth. It's very slow. It's very practical. It's very grounded, earthy, sensuous, and very deliberate. So we're coming out of this volcano of passion and desire and needs and fears and shame and whatever, wanting to control. Scorpio wants power and control. And this North Node in Taurus is coming into letting go of that desire to exploit, manipulate, dominate, control, have power and force and influence and and come into, and here, this is what is so cool about the freaking third quarter square moon. Sabian symbol for the third quarter square moon, an empty hammock stretched between 2 trees. I just helped my friend hang a hammock last week. Actually, I didn't help him. He did it himself. But anyway, a constructive alternation of activity and rest. Rest. I am so happy to have moved out of the yang, masculine, do, Estados Unidos, down to the feminine, tropical, simply be and relax, pura vida, Costa Rica. But no matter where you are, The simple rhythms of nature, the biorhythms of your own body are calling to slow down and breathe. Inhale and exhale. Let it go. Let it out. Let the river run. So this is what I mean in the mantra. You know, you can just be overwhelmed that, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do, or I don't know where I'm going to go, or I don't know where the money's coming from, or I don't know where this relationship is going, or I don't know this and I don't know that. And it creates all this, you know, scorpionic pressure, tension, emotion, desire. And this future path of evolution for these next 10 days is really moving into a path of trust, trusting ourselves, that we are in harmony with Spirit, that we are supported by Spirit, that we are one with Spirit. Which brings me back to, I have to talk about this Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces is where, you know, Saturn's where we grow up. We need to mature. We need to restructure. And through perseverance and endurance, build a deeper relationship with Pisces. Divine cosmic intelligence, love, source, oneness. This is just like a time period where we need to let go and let God. We need to let go of control. Accept ourselves. Taurus is what I've got in me. Okay, what I am. I can control my thoughts. I can control, to some degree, my body as much as it lets me. I got a messed up shoulder, a messed up knee. I can't say that I can fully control my body right now. But, you know, we can control our heart, you know, our heartstrings. We can control our thoughts. So this is where we slow down, and rather than be overwhelmed by the future, overwhelmed by our fears, overwhelmed by our past, we just slow it all down, and we look at today. What I'm going to do today. What I'm going to do now. And I'm going to trust that I'm going to take step 1, step 2 is tomorrow, or step 2 is tonight. What I'm going to do tonight. You know, I'm going to just, you know, rather than try to eat the whole enchilada, I'm going to just take little bites, a little bit at a time, one step at a time, one breath at a time, one day at a time. This is the bull. North Node in Taurus. Slow down, one step at a time. And that is, whenever I get overwhelmed, I know just what to do. I let it all go and simplify. Only taking steps 1 and 2. I go food shopping. I come home and I eat. I make meals. I get proper rest. It's just like when you throw a rock into a still pond. You go in concentric circles. So you become the best version of yourself first. Then your beloved or your intimate relationships. Then your family. Then your community. Then the global situation. Or however, you know, your Telegram groups. your Facebook friends, whoever, your dating apps, but you start at home. You start with Taurus and the sun in Cancer. So we got this real feminine inner energy happening now, and it's just center, slow, and trust. The ripple will expand. Life will change and evolve and grow. It will be shown unto you all in due time. So let the sun shine in. Face it with a grin. I don't have a song for this week. So if you think of a good one, don't let the rain come down. Oh no, don't let the no. Slow down. You move too fast. You gotta make the morning last, just kicking down the cobblestones, looking for fun and feeling groovy. That will be the song for this week. Simon and Garfunkel. Feeling groovy. Yeah, baby. Slow down. Ow! One more time. Whenever I get overwhelmed, I know just what to do. I let go of it all and simplify. And only taking steps 1 and 2. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.